Ever since I started covering the Carmelo Anthony story, my inbox has been filled with hateful and crazy messages. It's gotten to the point where I don't even open up my inbox anymore because it literally looks like a war zone in my DMs. So if you've been sending me messages, that's why I haven't gotten around to reading them, because I have to sift through hundreds of people calling me racist and attacking me and all types of other crazy stuff. Now, to be clear, this isn't necessarily something new for me. I cover a lot of stories. The reaction to every story I cover is different, but every now and then you cover a case like this one that gets people really angry and riled up. So I imagine that most people covering this story have gotten their fair share of hate, but apparently no one out there has experienced what Sarah Fields is going through. You see, I'm getting all types of hate from Karmelo's supporters. I'm sure the other people covering this story are as well. But Sarah Fields, she's getting the same hate that we're getting, but she's also getting hate on a different level. And now it's been revealed, she has revealed, that Carmelo Anthony's father himself has been in her inbox, bothering her, harassing her, trying to talk to her, going through all types of different emotions in Sarah's inbox. It's really weird to see. She released a lot of messages between her and Carmelo Anthony's father. And I don't think I've seen all the messages yet. But just from what I've seen, if I were to sit down and make a video reading all of the messages between Sarah and Carmelo's father, it would take me well over an hour. If I were to just to sit down, no intro, no nothing, just straight read all of these messages that I've seen, not even all of the messages, just what I've seen, it would take me literally over an hour. I'm not exaggerating when I say that Carmelo Anthony's father has become obsessive over Sarah Fields. And I say that he's become obsessive over her specifically because, as far as I know, he's not out here in everyone else's inbox that is covering this story or making videos about this story or what have you. No. But he is in Sarah's inbox nonstop, 24/7, back-to-back messages. And I've been reading through them, and a lot of them are what you would expect, right? Him playing the victim. Oh, my family isn't bad. Why are you saying these things? Him playing the race card. The usual nonsense that you would expect from Carmelo's family at this point. But just to see that nonstop he's been harassing this woman, a pregnant woman at that has been covering this case, it's really wild. Because as far as I know, I don't follow Sarah very closely. So I don't know every single thing she's said about this story or about this case. But from what I've seen, Sarah doesn't really even share opinions about the story in the way that I do and maybe others do. Usually she's sharing like court documents, like, hey, here's Carmelo Anthony's trial date, or hey, here's some emails between the school and Austin's parents. You know, she's releasing information like that. She's not really coming out here with her own strong opinions about the case. She's mainly just releasing facts and documents, right? Yet, for some reason, this has Carmelo's father riled up to the point that nonstop, every day, multiple times a day, the dude is just messaging her back to back to back to back. And it's really inappropriate, and it seems as if Sarah kind of kept this under wraps for a while. It seems as if Sarah didn't really want to make a big deal of this, because I feel like she could have released these messages sooner. She could have rang the alarm about this sooner. I had seen that she had hinted at the fact that Carmelo's father was messaging her and stuff like that. I had no idea it was this bad. I figured that maybe he sent her a message a couple of times, whatever. No, it's like nonstop. He's trying to maintain a 24/7 communication with Sarah. And it's really creepy. Honestly, it's really creepy, stalkery, obsessive. I don't even know if I have the right word to describe it, because it gives me a really weird feeling inside seeing this play out. But yeah, it seems as if Sarah didn't really want to make a big deal of it, but at some point she kind of felt like, hey, I just need to let the world know what's going on here, because it probably became too much for her. From my understanding, this woman, like I said, is pregnant, like 8 months pregnant. She right now should probably be focused on bringing her kid into this world, trying to maintain a stress-free environment. I understand that she has to do her job. She's been doing a great job on the Karmelo Anthony case. I thank her for all her work, but I'm also really concerned about her, because I don't think any pregnant woman should be dealing with, any amounts of intense stress, but this is like a whole new level of stress, right? When you have content creators out there like Charleston White with millions of followers and all types of influence talking about putting armies behind him to come after Sarah and trying to make Sarah like public enemy number one for Carmelo Anthony supporters, I imagine it's a lot of stress for her right now. And then she has Carmelo's father messaging her, harassing her 24/7. I'm sure it's a lot. And I do feel very bad for her. And I don't know, I just hope that she's able to maintain some level of peace throughout all of this, because that's very important, because as I've stated multiple times, she's pregnant, weeks away from bringing, a new baby into the world. So keep her in your thoughts, because they're coming after her hard right now, harder than they came after Austin's family. But like I said, it would take me hours to read through all of these messages. But let me just read you all a few, just so you guys get a good understanding of what's going on here. I believe this is one of the first messages sent. I come in peace. Can you please start sharing the truth and be honest about things? Your investigations are making my family unsafe. We're not the monsters you're portraying us to be. I haven't spoken up because some people have hidden agendas. As a Christian, I hope you understand. There are events I've kept quiet about that would surprise you. Please consider posting accurate information once the facts are corrected. Be blessed. Can you leave my family alone? Can you please stop attacking my family with lies? And Sarah finally replies to him and says, no lies have been told. Stop messaging me. Separate yourself from Dominique Alexander. You are tanking your own reputation by being affiliated with him. That man is evil. And until you separate yourself from the Next Generation Action Network, I will never stop reporting on him. And that's right. That's right. And I'm glad that Sarah isn't backing down in these messages now. I would suggest that maybe she just doesn't message this guy back at all. I mean, I'm kind of glad that she did, because now we have a better understanding of who Carmelo's father is and how he thinks. But at the same time, I imagine that this is a lot for Sarah. You have a father of a murderer here just going off in your inbox, having meltdowns every single day. And whenever there's a new development in the case or something, he messages Sarah again. It's really weird. And like I said, there's just so many messages to go through. Come on, you making stuff up right now. If I send you the facts, will you apologize? I'm not trying to make you upset. I come in peace. I haven't said anything because some people only see one side. Think about how you coming at me for no reason. If I give you the facts for an apology, you said no. You have no solution, only problems. Be blessed. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. And it's just 24/7, a bunch of nonsense. I have the proof, but I won't do you like you do others for recognition. Your so-called truth is creating hate amongst this country. If they are getting hate from people, it's because they keep giving people like you false information to push hateful narratives. And he's just going off with all of this nonsense. But one message that really sticks out to me is that he attacks Sarah's kids. He says right here, there you go being delusional again. You didn't have anything. My son defended himself. Maybe if you was a parent and your child would have defended theirself, she might not have been. It's hard to read this guy's messages. Maybe if you was a parent and your child would have defended theirself, she might not have been molested. I never said anything to anyone about the lies you spread. You the one with half-truths, not us. You scared of Tiffany. She must have had the truth. You lucky I don't know her. So he comes after and attacks Sarah's kid for, I don't know Sarah's history. I don't know the history of Sarah's kids. I don't know what she's been through or what her kids have been through. But apparently he's like rubbing it in Sarah's face that her kid may have been touched inappropriately or something along those lines. I'm kind of confused here reading these messages because I don't know, like I said, the full history of Sarah, and I don't know the full history of Karmelo's father. All I have is these messages, and to see that, it's really weird to try to rub that in someone's face if that is indeed what is happening here. And it looks like that is what's happening here. And how can you stoop lower than that? I mean, I get that you're upset that people are reporting on your son, but your son murdered someone at a track meet. You know? Maybe it's time to accept that reality instead of pointing the finger and attacking everyone else and accusing everyone else of being bad people when the bad person is your son, and probably you because you raised your son. But I guess in Karmelo's father's mind, it's appropriate to smear it in people's face that their kids may have had horrible things done to them. As if that makes Karmelo Anthony innocent all of a sudden. As if that, strengthens Karmelo Anthony's father's argument. It's really weird. But this guy is just delusional. And like I said, I could go through these messages all day. It would take hours. And I don't think there's really anything to gain from these messages. There's not a lot of information in these messages that we don't have. All you're going to see from these messages is just how far Karmelo's father is willing to go to play the victim. And at the same time, I'm reading this stuff and I do feel like Karmelo's father has some sort of obsession with Sarah. Like Karmelo Anthony's mom should be worried. Drew Anthony's wife should be worried. Because apparently in Drew's spare time, he's sneaking off to try to message Sarah over and over and over again until she responds. And I've never seen anything quite like this. I've covered so many different true crime cases, folks. I've never seen something like this where a parent of a murderer is just non-stop harassing and messaging a journalist that is covering the case. It's definitely unique. And I feel like often I've seen it all. I'm used to this. I'm prepared for this. I haven't seen anything quite like this that I can remember, that I can recall. This definitely stands out to me. And it definitely just feels awkward. I feel awkward reading these messages. And if I feel awkward, and I know a lot of you in the audience feels awkward about this, imagine Sarah. You're making the final preparations to have your child, and you got this going on. So like I said, I really do feel terrible that Sarah is having to go through this. I understand that she's, working, doing her job, doing what she needs to do. But yeah, I feel bad that she's having to deal with this as a result of her simply sharing the facts about a case. But let's just cherry pick a couple of more messages because there's all types. There's just, it's all over the place. Karmelo's father is literally all over the place in these messages. If everything is a lie, why are you worried about everyone who telling the truth? Sarah, please stop. You the one creating a race war with these attacks. Stop. War. Like he's literally just writing war. It's like, oh my God. This dude is freaking losing his mind. And I'm wondering, what is he capable of? Because when you start seeing someone obsessed like this, you really wonder what they may do next. I know you're not putting everything out you see in those emails. You know you see other things in those emails that you don't want to report on. Why is that, Sarah? Crickets, crickets. And Sarah is kind of like forced to reply to Drew, I have a life. I don't have time to check messages to look at your meltdowns. So yeah, he's literally just melting down in her inbox. Every time something happens, he messages her again, over and over again. We can change the world for the better is all I'm saying. Like weird stuff like that. Telling Sarah how they could come together and they could change the world together. That's what he thinks. See what you started? Startling array of division and unilateral perspectives? Why are you pointing fingers with skeletons in your closet? This situation is far more significant than just concerning my son. It highlights the astounding unfairness of the justice system and reveals how some people are astonishingly one-sided in their views. What's that sound like it to you? So, like I said, you can go through all of these messages. There's nothing really there of substance other than him saying, oh, it's an unfair justice system. They don't treat black people fairly. And oh, blah, blah, humla, humla, humla. It's really sickening and stupid, but I would be really annoyed if I was getting messages like this every day. And we have to keep in mind, it's not like this is a random person messaging Sarah. This is Karmelo's father. This is Karmelo's father. And I don't know. I think it's a bad look that as we're sitting here waiting for trial, Karmelo's father is behind the scenes harassing people reporting on this case. I think that's a very, very bad look. And we have almost a year until the trial. And then we have the trial itself to deal with. And if these people are acting crazy now, they're going to act even crazier once the trial comes. So I think there's certain behavior here that we need to go ahead and call out. I'm glad that Sarah went ahead and let people know what was going on here before this, evolves into something even bigger or crazier. I think that Sarah needs to keep documentation, and I'm sure she's already doing this, but she needs to document all of this harassment. She needs to keep files on all of this stuff just in case something does happen, because when Karmelo's father recently sat down with Charleston White and recruited Charleston White to come out here and start attacking Austin supporters, and more specifically Sarah herself, he did that because I would assume he's kind of salty about the messages that he's receiving from Sarah. He's angry that his harassment isn't working. He also knows that, hey, I can't really say certain things that I want to say. So he himself, because he doesn't like the results of these messages between him and Sarah, he went and got Charleston White to smear Sarah, to spread all types of false, maybe even true, I don't know this woman, to spread all types of crazy information about her past, to try to drag her name through the mud, to attack her every step of the way. Karmelo's dad did that. Karmelo's dad personally went and got Charleston White for the sole purpose of, in my opinion, not even, I think the main motive in him getting Charleston White is to have Charleston White attack Sarah in the way that he knows that he can't, without making him and his family look terrible, which they already look bad just from these messages. But yeah, I do think that he brought in Charleston White for various reasons, but one of the main reasons being to specifically harass Sarah and to try to silence Sarah. And their end game is for someone to hurt her. Their end game is for one of Karmelo's supporters, to notice her in public and do something to her. That's what their end game is. That is exactly what their end game is. Which is why I felt it was necessary to make this video to tell you guys about everything that's going on. But yeah, there's plenty of more messages. I'll probably make separate videos in the future, kind of going on, just reading through some of these messages specifically, because I do think there's some weird things going on within these messages that I do want to point out. But for now, I want to hear what you guys think about all of this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.